Hi YouTubers and wet shavers everywhere, it's Mark at GeorgeTune.com. I'm back with another video. This time around, another morning shave video. And for this morning shave, we're going to be using Vikings Blade Sandalwood and Cedar Shaving Cream. Now, this is unlike anything you've ever used before because it doesn't go on thick and creamy. It goes on light and frothy, but it's super, super slick. So it gives you a really close shave. So to whip up that lather, I'll be using my Vikings Blade Dark Stallion Badger brush. This does a great job in creating lather. Really like it a lot. So let's get right to it. I'm going to be putting some hot water into my shaving bowl here. This will give me a nice warm lather after I empty it out and start lathering and that sort of thing. So we'll take my brush, we'll set it into the warm water that I already have in my sink bowl right here. And we'll get my razor. My razor of choice this morning is the Vikings Blade Chieftain Razor. You can see that right there. And I'm going to be using a Vikings Blade razor blade. These are mild. They are smooth and very sharp. Love these blades a lot. So while my brush is soaking and my bowl is warming up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this blade into my razor. This is great because it's twist to open butterfly, and all you do is just drop that blade in there and you're ready to go. All right, so let's get the hot water out of my bowl and let's wet my face a little bit. Now I have a good 1 day's growth of whisker, and I'm going to use probably about this much. They recommend a teaspoon. Folks at Vikings Blade recommend about a teaspoon of this to go into your bowl. This is about right. And there is just a little bit of water, just a little drop in my bowl. And I want that there because that helps. I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to give it a shake, maybe a slight wring. But I found that when you have water, when you have some water, I'm going to give it a couple more shakes here. It helps to make this lather. Now this lather is going to really explode and it's going to really build quickly here. But as I say, it helps to have a little more water than that. You're going to have to experiment with your own water. Some water is a little more hard, some is a little more soft. So you're going to have to experiment a little bit just to dial it in correctly. It's going to be light and frothy on your skin. It's not going to be heavy and creamy. It's going to be nice and light and frothy. You can already see that I've got this kind of cream here, but that is even going to break down even more once I get it onto my face. I have some water on my face. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to add a little bit more water just to this, just a little more, just to make it a little lighter because you don't want it to be really, really heavy. And it is very, very slick. You get this on your fingers, you're going to have to have another towel nearby to wipe your hands off. Make sure that the razor that you're using has some good knurling on it because you really do want to get a good grip of it. Okay, so that's about where I want to be with this. Let me show you again. Right about there, you can see the bubbles starting to work up there, and you'll get even more on your skin, on your face, as you work it in. So there is a little bit of face lathering also as you work it in, and it really becomes light and frothy, and you get a lot. You're going to get what I just put in, you're going to get more than enough for 3 passes. Okay, so let's go, start. You can see it's light and frothy. It's not heavy at all. And it's going to become somewhat transparent on your face, no doubt. And the second pass is going to be even lighter than the first pass because the additional water is really going to activate it. So you can see it's already becoming, you can see in some areas of it where I'm going over it again, you can see that it's becoming very, very light and frothy. But that's a good thing. When it starts to become somewhat transparent, it's becoming very slick. I can't explain it any other way, but I really like this shaving cream a lot. I use it to shave my head all the time. It just works wonderfully up there because it gives me a really close shave on the top of my scalp. Really, really good. Okay, so there we are. Now, let me show you my shaving bowl here. You can see some of the bubbles on the bottom there. That's what you want. You want it to start becoming light and frothy. Whoops, gotta want to start becoming light and frothy. See, it slipped out of my hands. It's slippery stuff. It really is. You want it to become light and frothy on your face. That's how you want it. Okay. It's starting to come light and frothy. I let it sit on my face a little bit. Let's heat up my razor blade. Very hot water. I like to put my blade underneath very, very hot water and then swirl into the warm water here. And that brings it to the right temperature. This chieftain blade is going to work very, very well for this shave because it has this nice deep knurling on the handle. Like that a lot. And again, as I say, this is super, super slick. So again, it's just starting. You can see on my face in some areas here where it's just starting to bubble up and everything. That's what you want. You want that. So here we go. And you'll probably get a lot of audio feedback as it slices through the whisker. So here we go. 30 degrees. Let the razor do all the work, gentlemen. No tugging, no pulling, just gliding right across. Again, I like to go underneath my jawline all the way around. Just what I like to do. I guess it's just the shape of my face. You can hear all that audio feedback from the whisker being cut. Very nice. Very nice first pass. I'm going to rinse. Put my lid back on my shaving cream here. I'm going to rinse. Be right back. The shaving cream gives me some of the closest first passes in wet shaving. It really does. Now, I'm going to get a little more for my second pass. We're going to go across the grain. So I'm going to just get a little more out of my bowl here. Now you can see with the additional water that I've added that's on my face, how much, well, you could say thinner it is, but it's not thinner in the sense that it's not doing its job. It's really very, very slick now. Very slick. And again, you're going to have to become accustomed to it because as it starts to become frothy on your face, you don't really see where you have shaved, as in traditional Well, as in the, you don't see where you have shaved as clearly as with other shaving creams that are very, very thick and, how do I want to say it? They're very, very thick and dense. This is not dense. This is light and frothy. So you'll know where you're going, but you'll feel it. You just might not see it as clearly. It will take a little getting used to, but the great thing about this is if you shave with a cartridge razor, you're going to love this because there's absolutely no buildup of shaving cream on that cartridge head with some of the other thick shaving creams. This is the best of both worlds in relation to shaving oils. A lot of guys who shave with cartridges use shaving oils because there's no buildup of a lather on that cartridge head. The same thing here, only it gives you that great wet shaving ability to use a brush. It lets you use a brush and a shaving bowl in order to create your lather. Now, in just talking to you, you can see how it's, again, getting light and frothy on my face. That's what you want. It becomes very, very slick. Then we're going to go across the grain. And again, you can see where you shaved. It just isn't as clear and as defined with those thicker, denser creams. But you can hear it. You can see it. You might not be able to see it on camera as well, but I can see it here. I can see the path, but again, there isn't much contrast there. And I love this Vikings blade Chieftain razor. This is the razor that brought me back to traditional wet shaving. I like it because it encloses the ends of the razor blades. So when you're flipping it back and forth, that end isn't protruding where you might catch your earlobe or underneath your nostril, something like that. It glides right across. The second pass is even closer than the first. I might not need a third pass. And because of the slickness, sometimes when you do one area, because there's a little bit of slickness there, you can always go back and do it again if you want. You still have to be careful, just like other shaving creams, but I'm just saying that the slickness is so great that you can do that with other shaving creams. Once you remove the shaving cream, there's no longer any protection there. With this, the protection, the retention, the protection is a little higher. Okay, I'm going to rinse. Wow, that's nice. I don't need a third pass. What I need is maybe a little touch up here, maybe a little touch up there, and then I'm done. I don't really need a full third pass. And you do need a little touch up right here, and I'll do a little buffing. And this cream is great for blade buffing, really great. and a little bit here. That's it. That's it. I'm done. Now, because there's a lot of slickness rinsed off of my face into the sink, I'm going to empty that, and I'm going to do a final warm rinse from the tap. I can get the proper temperature, and I can remove a lot of the excess slickness that's on my skin, because you do retain a lot of the slickness here. But it's just super slick. It's really just a very efficient shaving cream, especially with the Chieftain and the Vikings blade razor blade. Okay, little warm water rinse from the tap. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get off that slickness, but that just shows you how well protected your skin is and how smooth of a shave you'll get. I'm doing a cold water rinse now to close my pores. Wow, that was really nice. Got a fresh towel right here for the dry off. Boy, nice, smooth shave. No nicks, no cuts, no irritation. Stuff is great. It is really slick. And as I say, you've got to get a razor that has some really good knurling on it in order to make sure that you've got hold of it. Wipe off your hands because it is very slick. You probably heard me slip the bowl. The bowl slipped out of my hands here. Even though this shaving bowl, it's the Admiral by Vikings Blade, has some nice bead blasting on it to give it a sure grip, this stuff is slippery. It is very slick. And you can look, you can see, I have more than enough here for an additional, gosh, probably 2 more passes. It really is slick, and you can see how it's bubbled up. And that's really what you want. You want that kind of a consistency with it. That's why I say you should do a little more lathering on the face for that first pass. I'm going to just rinse my hands off because it's slick stuff. You want to have a little more lathering on your face to help it to become more light and frothy, because that's, when you see that, then you'll get maximum slickness from it. Okay, so we're going to finish it up right now, and it is autumn and it's getting cool, so rather than go with something that is completely alcohol-based splash, I'm going to use the Vikings Blade Forest Frost Aftershave. This does have a touch of alcohol in it to close up whatever microabrasions I might have on my skin. And I like this a lot. I usually go with about 4 to 5 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I work it into my hands and into my face. Has a great scent, a little bit on my head. Has a really nice scent, nice sandalwood and cedar scent. Complements the shaving cream really well. And as I say, that little touch of alcohol helps close up any microabrasions that you might have if you do nick yourself. But if you use a Chieftain razor with the Vikings Blade razor blade, no nicks, no cuts, no irritation, especially with the Vikings Blade Sandalwood and Cedar shaving cream. Okay, I'm going to clean my gear and I'll be back to wrap up. Wow, that was a really close shave. A nice, clean, close, comfortable shave. Vikings Blade, Sandalwood, and Cedar. I really, really love this shaving cream. It's unlike anything else I've ever used. It'll be unlike anything you've ever used. It doesn't give you that big Santa beard, that thick, dense, creamy kind of lather that you have on your face. It's light and frothy and super, super slick. And as you shave, you'll feel where you've been and you'll know where you're going. You may not get that contrast because of the lack of density of the cream to where, oh, well, here, I just shaved here and there's the skin right there. A lot of the slickness is really retained on the skin. So you'll see where you shaved, but you'll also see that there's a little bit of slickness there left as well. And as I say, if you want to go back and hit that area again, you'll have enough slickness to do so. You don't want to do it repeatedly. Obviously, you want to protect your skin. But unlike these other shaving creams where you shave it and it's gone and there's no protection there, there's still a little protection that's retained there. At least that's what I've found. You are going to have to work with dialing in the correct amount of cream to water in your household. And I vary it all the time as well. I varied it a little bit on camera for this video, and sometimes you use a little more, sometimes I use a little less. Usually that second pass is really the money pass. That's where you have some extra water on your face, and when you work it into a lather again with a good Badger brush or a boar brush, it really makes it incredibly slicker than the first time around. But it still gives me probably one of the closest first passes of any shaving cream I've ever used. It really is different. It's a different approach, but it's one that I really, really like. And if you have a really, really tough beard, Vikings Blade also makes a pre-shave oil. This is a Sandalwood and Cedar pre-shave oil as well. And that's very good too. A couple of, wet your face, a couple of pumps on the palm, work it up, put it on your skin, and you're good to go. The Badger brush, again, this Vikings Blade Dark Stallion Badger brush, and it's still drying out here a little bit, did a great job. It just, I love this brush. It is just, the Badger hair on this is just nice and soft and really works well with any soap or cream I've ever used. And what's nice is that as it's drying out, I get to put it on my Vikings Blade Admiral stand, solid stainless steel, which is really very nice. Hey, you know what? Without knowing it, it's been an all Vikings Blade shave. You know, who knew? Again, the Chieftain is the razor that brought me back to traditional wet shaving. I love this razor. It's not too aggressive. It's not too mild. It's right there in what I call the sweet spot. And the Viking Blade, razor blade is wonderful. It's smooth. It's sharp. You won't get an extra touch with this. With this system, with this blade and this razor and this shaving cream here, you'll have a nice nick-free, cut-free shave. Really, really nice. Just remember, 30 degrees, light touch, let the razor do all the work. And finally, the Forest Frost Aftershave Balm that I used. Very nice scent. Gives me a lot of nice moisturizers and just tones the skin up with a little bit of alcohol, heals up some of the microabrasions that you might get. I like this a lot. Now that it's getting cooler here in Northeast Ohio, I don't want to put on a heavy alcohol splash. Don't want my skin to dry out. This is what I go to, especially after using the Sandalwood and Cedar shaving cream. It's all-inclusive, and that scent carries throughout the shave, which is really, really very, very nice. So, check it out. I really do like the Sandalwood and Cedar shaving cream. As I say, I use it to shave my head. Shave my head like 3 times a week. This is what I go to. I shaved it yesterday. Gave me a really nice head shave. No nicks, no cuts, no irritation. It just works great. And if you use a cartridge razor to shave with, really check this out. This gives you the best of both worlds. I know a lot of you guys use those shaving oils and use it with a cartridge because I guess you're not getting a lot of lather buildup with that oil. Well, with this, you won't get a lot of lather buildup either. You'll get the same kind of slickness as you do with the oil, but you get that great feeling of doing a traditional wet shave with a shaving bowl and a brush and working the lather into your face. So that's why if you shave with a cartridge razor, you want to check this out. Okay, thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a great shave with this morning. Comment below, let me know. Check out my blog, georgetoon.com/blog for my comic strip George, other cartoons, other videos like this, and I'll see you again real soon.